Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning into today's episode of Armchair Gaming. I am your host, the Unbearable Gamer, and you are an excited individual who's also very exciting and hopefully excited to learn some stuff about philosophy. Today we're going to be looking at Destiny 2. I'm hoping this will be a multi-part series, and we'll get to grow and expand on both the gameplay and the lore of this game, because the lore is kind of in-depth and it's kind of exciting and really cool to look at. But today we're going to be looking at the Guardians themselves. If you're unfamiliar with the game and don't want spoilers, this is definitely not the show to watch today, unfortunately, as it's going to be spoilers galore. But if you're familiar with the game and are hoping to learn something, this is the right spot. And on that note, why don't we just dive right on in, you know? Destiny 2 is pretty straightforward. It's the second entry into, well, I mean, that's obvious, second entry into the Destiny series by Bungie, who you may be familiar with their work on some of the earlier Destinies. This is my character. This is my character name up there. Oh, you can't see it. It's covered. I'm smart. Oh, you can see it over there. Damn it. So yeah, we're just going to dive in. We'll do some exploration. I think we're going to start off with some Crucible. Just so you guys can see me get some muttering. No, you know what? Let's do a strike. Let's do a Vanguard strike. That's probably the best place to start. We're going to be talking about what it is that makes Guardians. And if you're unfamiliar with this game, we'll get into the lore as we're waiting for the strike to start up. The Destiny universe takes place in our solar system, or I guess in our universe, not immediately, but just after the collapse of mankind. So we typically play, or we operate out of something called the Tower, and we'll talk more about that in a later episode. But we play as this entity called the Guardian, who is the derivative of Risen or Light Bearers. We'll talk about what it is that, how they came into existence. Pardon me, just take a sip of my Kentucky sweet tea. Pardon me. So as the strike is loading, Guardians are resurrected ancient warriors who are deemed fit to serve under the guidance of the Traveler and are compatible with a ghost. Ghosts are these tiny little floating robots who bear with them the light from this Traveler. We're going to talk about the Traveler in another episode as well. So if I say the Traveler is a near godlike entity who has the ability to animate and reanimate. I'm hoping the levels are okay. They're probably okay. Hey, friend. So we fight as According to the data, it's a Red Legion. Okay, I'll show you Ghost in a second. Actually, that's what's going to happen there. But we fight on behalf of mankind and the Traveler, and we're near immortal. If we die, we can be resurrected. And that was what tipped me off into why this would be a good episode to talk, a good game to talk about personal identity, personal experience, and the like. But some more about the game. It's first-person shooter, as you can see. It's got some serious RPG elements to it. Induction times. What the hell are those? Yeah. So, just loaded it. No. Oh, I'm very warm. I'm gonna take my glasses off. I'm getting real spicy behind the eyes, starting to fog up, and that's causing me to lose a little bit of focus. Ghosts are that little guy right there. Hey, friend. What's going on, Ghost? They have different functionalities, but the bottom line for them is they... Oh, that's a risky... I like that. This guy knows what he's doing. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Cool. Oh, this is awesome. Another learning experience right here. Perfect. So that's what you look like when you die. You turn into your ghost, giving out a distress beacon. So we play as these reanimated warriors, who have been chosen by... This seems dangerous, but okay. I'm just gonna hop in here and hope for the best.
Look, it's a Vex Milk waterfall. Can we stop and... Oh.
Well, that was weird. So yeah, like I said, we play as these reanimated warriors, who have been chosen by the Traveler, who we cannot see. We'll talk about it later on. You get to meet the Traveler in the game. The Traveler's all over the place. I almost gender identified it, and it certainly lacks gender. Oh, that was neat. So, what I wanted to touch on is the significance of whether or not there is personal identity in this game. Because, like I said, as you just saw, when you die, your respawn point in this game is your ghost providing a distress beacon for other guardians to interact with. And, like, that leads me to suspect that even though we're reanimated warriors, we truly don't actually exist. And I don't mean that, like, we're not, like, we don't, like, physically exist in the game, but rather we exist as just almost near puppets. Like, we don't actually have our own autonomy. And, like, there are instances in this game when we get into the lore that would suggest otherwise. But I feel like it's important to note that without our ghosts, we are essentially useless, and without the Traveler, we are essentially useless. Like, we become functionally obsolete, which is, like, the main story, like, the main, like, line of the campaign of this game, right? Is, the city that protects the Traveler, and, like, it's the last safe city of mankind, is attacked by an alien race, known as the Cabal, and they capture the light, or they capture the Traveler, I should say, which means the Guardians lose their light. Damn it. That's garbage. Oh, we're all up here. Hey, friends. Okay, I'm going down here. I'll be the grunt. So, without the Traveler's power, we as Guardians are useless, right? Essentially, the light from the Traveler gives all the ghosts the ability to resurrect their Guardians, in quotations, infinitely. They can continue to do it in almost any circumstance. Effectively, you know, the body doesn't matter. Which... Oh, that was... Okay, cool.
Zavala, giant drills. Apparently, Cabal research equals giant drills.
Oh, I love the comedy. Uh-oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, no, I'm fine. Just barely. So like I said... Oh, another dead friend. Oh, I'm not coming for you. So, knowing that the Traveler is a key element in us being as powerful as we are is all well and good. Probably not much to read into there, but, like, what really causes me to, like, question our humanity, or who we are as individuals, is how we interact with the light and our ghosts. When we die, our ghosts are all that remain. Our ghosts can exist outside of our body, but given our relationship with the ghosts, the Traveler, I think a reasonable argument can be made that the characters that players play as don't actually have, like, any external personality. There's no internal thoughts. Even when the ghost interacts with us and it's like, hee hee hee, it feels almost as if you could identify it. Oh. There's my bae right there. That's my girl. Nope, 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 I don't want that. Go away, leave me alone. Bring a grenade. I missed. Majorly gay, like, MLG Pro right here. Okay. But, no, seriously. Choke on it! Thank you. Beauty. So, what I'm going to suggest in this game is that the identification of Guardians is that they are not humans, like, at all. But they are rather... Maybe it's a symbiotic relationship, but it's also important to remember that these are reanimated warriors, right? Like, in the first game, when you first develop your character, like, you spontaneously wake up in, like... Oh, are you serious? You wake up spontaneously in the, what, Cosmonaut? Or the Cosmo port, or Cosmo something. You essentially come to life arbitrarily. There's no, like, preface to who you are. There's nothing like that. You just suddenly wake up, here I am. So the fact that you're reanimated, like, does that mean that your personhood, like, stays with you even in death, and you only become a human again if you happen to become reanimated? Is that like the lore we're trying to go with? Or are Guardians themselves just an approximation of what once was, with flesh, and the Traveler uses the, like, the physical form of reanimated dead, to What was I gonna say here? Shit, sorry, my brain's losing it. Yes, right, do they use reanimated dead as a way to kind of create tools to fight? Like, are we nothing more than objects that are marionetted by this traveler? Are you serious? Did you die again? You're back there too. Okay, we're not getting you. Stand up. Alright, I wanted to be your friend, I promise. All exploded. And I think that's an important discussion to have. Like, I realize that there are plenty of instances... Ooh, that was gross. I don't know if you guys got that. There are plenty of instances that would suggest that there's a little bit more to who you are, as presented through, like, the lore that they express, right? There are a pair of gloves that I don't have equipped right now. I should put them on. They're my favorite gloves. They're my favorite piece of gear to wear, but, they give the suggestion that we as characters can learn or like have our memories of the old days, and like I don't mean to refute that. That seems like it should be an acceptable thing to have, but it still doesn't, in my mind, anyways, remove the principle that we as guardians are simply puppets. You know, as if. Even if we... Oh, that was really fast. Awesome. Good job, guys. Even if we assume, for lack of a better term, that Guardians are uniquely independent and have, like, semblance of their own reality, I think it's still a reasonable argument that Guardians lack free will, as they are shackled to the will of the Traveler. Did you make it down, at least? No, you're still on the far side. He's just useless. Cool. Well... I'm gonna keep going. Take a die. Am I gonna die? No. Cool. Ooh, almost though. So like that's that bit. Like that's like my approach to this is that there is significantly more to the humanity of our guardians than we can observe. You know, there's more to them than just being humans with superpowers. You know. Even if they exist and have freedom of thought and freedom of existence, they are still shackled to the will of the Traveler, by and large, because the Traveler and the Traveler's ghost are what reanimate them, and without the ghost, as absolutely described by the lore in this game, without the presence of your ghost, you die. Like, that's the bottom line. Like, if you kill somebody and then shoot their ghost and kill their ghost, they don't come back. See right here, this is what they look like. That is, that's the distress beacon. That's the ghost right there. It's a ball of light with the parts of the ghost floating around it. And I think that's... Ooh, hello. Bye-bye. Like, the flesh disappears. So, I feel like there's significantly more to the existence, to the Guardians, as more than just humans. I think it's very clearly stated that, like, they're... I think Bungie wants us to believe, anyways, in the lore that they're superhuman, but it seems to me that they aren't superhuman. They are a symbiotic relationship of, like, carbon-based flesh in humanoid form married to an advanced form of technology or whatever it is the Traveler is, right? I think that's an important distinction to make here. This strike's almost done, which is great, because we'll finish it up and probably end this video, which is awesome. But, while we're killing this boss, which is fun, we'll talk maybe about free will, right? So that's another important thing, is free will is often not discussed in this game. There are instances where one assumes that somebody has free will, like when we're dealing with Guardians who don't abide by the will of the Traveler, and work in the Vanguard and do their own bidding, but the Traveler is a mystery in many ways, and when we discuss what the Traveler is in the next video, or the video after that, I'm not sure where in the series that's going to fall yet, but when we do that, we're gonna kind of establish quickly that these people and their quote-unquote free will still fall well within the boundaries of the Traveler's plan, because we don't know enough about the Traveler's plan other than the fact that the Traveler wishes to defend itself. That's the one thing that we can glean from all this, is the Guardians were designed or resurrected and sought out from, like, warriors who were deemed acceptable, not arbitrarily. They were chosen to protect the Traveler from forces of evil like this Vex right here, the Prothean modular mind, right? Our existence in this game assumes that we are here for a purpose, and like as people who play the game, yeah, absolutely, we're here to defend the Traveler by doing its bidding and killing its enemies. But just stop shooting the ground, okay? Nobody likes your gun. Yeah, you see your gun, you disappeared, you died. Free will in this game doesn't feel as if it could be real. Like, even when you look at, like, we'll use the biggest example, or the most, like, the strongest example, Osiris, who is scheduled to make a pretty big impact on Destiny 2. We talked about in Destiny 1 at length. Sounds like a pretty cool guy to me, personally, but Osiris was banished from the Vanguard. We'll talk more about the Vanguard as well in the next episode. Suffice to say that I'm hard-pressed to believe that Guardians are humans, and I'm also hard-pressed to believe that Guardians have free will. From what I've observed in this game... Oh, okay, I can't see shit. I'm sorry, guys. That's very blinding for everybody. Sorry about that. I suspect the Vex are no more... Or not the Vex. The Guardians are no different than complicated programming designed to protect the Traveler from its enemies. We're going to talk more about what the Traveler is in the next episode. We're going to wrap this fight up, and then I'm going to wrap up this stream. Boop! There's a little bit like that. Yeah, so that is... Yeah, this fight's over. Okay. That was a good way to end. Good job, everybody. Nice. Boom. So yeah, that is the end of episode 1 of the Destiny part of Armchair Gaming. We talked a little bit about personal identity. I got a little off the beaten path, so we will touch on a little bit more in the next episode as I like conclude and conduct and get my thoughts together. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and a little bit of the gameplay. I thought I was doing pretty good there. I had no deaths. I killed some guys. I didn't aim like a potato too often. But I appreciate everybody who tuned into today's video. If you have questions or you want some input into the next series or episodes, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's the easiest place to get hold of me. Oh, he's dancing. You can't see it. Yeah, so thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode, guys. I hope you guys tune into the next one, and I look forward to hanging out with everybody in the next video. Goodbye for now.